You've been told nuts are healthy, right? Heart-healthy fats, protein, minerals, it all sounds perfect. But here's the shocking truth almost nobody is telling men over 50. If you're eating the wrong nuts, you could actually be flooding your body with plant estrogens, crushing your testosterone, and yes, even sabotaging your bedroom performance. And the worst part? The very nuts marketed as the healthiest are often the biggest offenders. Today, I'm exposing which 4 nuts are secretly wrecking male hormones and which 4 you should be eating instead. This isn't scare tactics. It's about understanding how certain plant compounds can tip the balance of your hormones as you age. Because here's the reality. As testosterone naturally declines with age, you become much more sensitive to foods that can push you further in the wrong direction. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which nuts to avoid, which to embrace, and how to optimize your nut intake for maximum testosterone support. Some of what I'm about to share may surprise you, especially when it comes to so-called health foods that are anything but healthy for men. But first, please like the video. The more people like it, the more YouTube will distribute it to people who don't have access to doctors or hospitals. Also, please share the video with your friends and family. Many lives can be saved with your help, so share it. First, let's understand what we're dealing with. Nuts can impact male hormones and sexual health through several pathways. They contain phytoestrogens, plant compounds that mimic estrogen in your body. They provide minerals like zinc and selenium, both crucial for testosterone production. They affect inflammation, which directly impacts circulation and hormone balance. And they influence your omega fatty acid ratios, which affect everything from blood flow to hormone production. The key is knowing which nuts stack the deck in your favor and which ones quietly work against you, especially as your hormones become more delicate with age. The 4 nuts to limit or avoid. Let's start with the most controversial. Soy nuts. These aren't technically tree nuts at all. They're legumes, but they're often marketed right alongside nuts as a heart-healthy protein source. The problem? Soy contains high levels of isoflavones, particularly genistein and didzine, which are powerful phytoestrogens that bind to estrogen receptors in your body. And here's what the research really shows. A Harvard study found that men consuming the equivalent of just 2 servings of soy daily had sperm counts 41 million per milliliter, lower than men who didn't eat soy. Another study from the University of GE revealed that just 56 grams of soy protein a day for 4 weeks cut testosterone levels by 19%. For a man already battling age-related testosterone decline, that extra drop can be the difference between feeling strong and feeling drained. The processing of soy nuts only makes things worse. Unlike traditional fermented soy products like tempeh or natto, where fermentation reduces phytoestrogen activity, soy nuts are simply roasted soybeans with concentrated isoflavone levels. A single serving can pack up to 150 milligrams of isoflavones. That's essentially like taking an estrogen supplement. And here's what makes this even more concerning for older men. You become more sensitive to estrogen as you age. Your aromatase enzyme activity ramps up, already converting more of your testosterone into estrogen. Adding dietary phytoestrogens to the mix is like throwing gasoline on a hormonal fire. Men who cut soy nuts often report feeling more energized and even waking up with stronger morning erections within just 2 to 3 weeks. If soy is your main protein source, it's time to rethink that strategy. But let me be clear, this doesn't mean all soy is evil, which brings us to an important distinction before we move to the next problematic nut. Speaking of foods hyped as healthy, but secretly dragging men down, let's talk about flax seeds. Walk into any health store and you'll see ground flax everywhere, marketed as a superfood, an omega-3 powerhouse, even a prostate protector. But here's the dark side no one tells men about. Flax is loaded with lignans, another type of phytoestrogen, in staggering concentrations, about 800 times more than almost any other plant food. To put it in perspective, just 1 tablespoon of ground flax has more phytoestrogens than an entire cup of soy milk. A clinical study from Duke University showed that men consuming 30 grams of flax daily, roughly 3 tablespoons, experienced a 15% drop in testosterone in just 1 month. But it doesn't stop there. The lignans in flax don't just mimic estrogen. They also ramp up production of sex hormone-binding globulin by up to 20%. SHBG is the protein that locks away your free testosterone, making it unusable to your body. That means flax delivers a double blow, lowering total testosterone while binding up more of the little that remains. And the much-touted omega-3 benefit? Misleading. Flax contains ALA omega-3s, but men convert only 5 to 8% of ALA into the usable forms EPA and DHA. Women convert more, up to 21%, because estrogen helps drive that process. Translation: flax was practically designed by nature to work better in female bodies than male ones. I've personally seen men's hormone panels completely turn around after ditching daily flax. One 58-year-old patient who'd been adding ground flax to his smoothies for years saw his free testosterone jump by 22% in just 6 weeks after quitting. His words? It felt like someone turned the lights back on. This naturally brings us to our third problematic nut, one that hides its dangers behind shiny marketing: flavored and processed nuts. You know the ones. Those honey-roasted, cinnamon sugar, BBQ-coated bags that line the shelves at gas stations or supermarkets. Grabbing them instead of candy might feel like a healthy choice, but in reality, these processed nuts are landmines for male hormones. Let's start with the licorice connection that almost nobody knows about. Licorice flavoring contains glyceric acid, a compound proven to wreck testosterone. An Italian study gave men just 7 grams of licorice daily, less than what flavors a small bag of nuts. Within only 4 days, their testosterone plummeted by 44%. 4 days. The reason? Glyceric acid blocks the enzyme that converts cholesterol into testosterone while simultaneously boosting cortisol, the stress hormone that fights testosterone head-on. Even without licorice, processed nuts create serious problems. High heat roasting, often at temperatures above 300 degrees, forms acrylamides and advanced glycation end products, both inflammatory and both destructive to hormone-producing cells. Then there are the cheap vegetable oils used, loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. Ideally, your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio should sit around 4:1. Processed nuts can spike that ratio to 20.1 or more, fueling systemic inflammation that suppresses testosterone and chokes blood flow. And let's not forget the sugar. That honey coating, it's basically candy wrapped around a nut. The sugar spike triggers insulin release, and chronically high insulin crushes testosterone while encouraging belly fat. That belly fat then pumps out more aromatase enzyme, converting your remaining testosterone into estrogen. It's a vicious cycle, all triggered by what looks like a harmless snack. One patient of mine ate a can of honey-roasted mixed nuts every day, thinking it was a smart swap for chips. His testosterone was 285, clinically low. After cutting out the processed nuts and switching to raw ones, 3 months later his levels climbed to 425. He even lost 12 pounds without changing anything else. Now, you might be thinking peanuts themselves are the real villain, and you'd be partly right. Peanuts aren't true nuts at all, they're legumes. And while they aren't automatically harmful, eating too many can absolutely be problematic for men's health. For starters, peanuts are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, but contain very little omega-3 to balance them. That imbalance promotes inflammation throughout your body, including in blood vessels and hormone-producing glands. On top of that, peanuts often harbor aflatoxins, naturally occurring fungal toxins that can harm the liver. And your liver? It's crucial for hormone balance. It clears excess estrogen and produces proteins that carry your hormones where they need to go. If liver function gets compromised, your hormones take the hit. Peanuts are also among the most common food allergens, and even mild, undiagnosed sensitivities can spark chronic inflammation. That constant inflammatory stress suppresses testosterone and interferes with circulation. If you love peanut butter, keep it to just a couple times a week instead of every day. Choose organic Valencia peanuts when you can. They tend to have lower aflatoxin levels. And always balance peanut intake with omega-3 rich foods. Now that we've covered the troublemakers, let's turn to the good news. The nuts that actually support, and in some cases boost, testosterone. These won't work like magic pills, but they contain compounds your body desperately needs for strong hormone production. Unlike the problematic nuts we just discussed, these allies work with your biology, not against it. If I had to recommend just one nut for men over 50, it would be Brazil nuts. No contest. These big, creamy nuts from the Amazon are basically testosterone boosters in disguise. Why? Because they're one of the richest natural sources of selenium on the planet. A single Brazil nut contains about 90 to 100 micrograms of selenium, almost double your daily requirement. And selenium isn't just any mineral. It's essential for male reproductive health. In fact, your testicles contain more selenium per gram of tissue than almost any organ other than the thyroid. The Leydig cells, the ones that actually produce testosterone, depend on selenium to function and to defend themselves from oxidative damage. And oxidative stress is no small thing. As you age, it ramps up, essentially rusting out your testosterone factories from the inside. Selenium acts like rust-proofing, protecting those cells and keeping testosterone flowing. One groundbreaking study out of the UK tracked men with low selenium levels who began supplementing. After 3 months, their testosterone jumped by an average of 35%, and sperm motility improved by 52%. While that research used supplements, Brazil nuts provide selenium in an even more bioavailable form, plus extra nutrients. And Brazil nuts bring another hidden advantage. They're packed with boron, around 1.7 mg per ounce. Boron helps free up testosterone by lowering SHBG levels. Studies show that 10 mg of boron daily can boost free testosterone by 28%, while cutting estradiol, a form of estrogen, by 39%. Just 6 Brazil nuts give you nearly half that amount. But moderation is key. 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day is ideal. More than that, and you risk selenium toxicity. Choose organic Brazilian or Bolivian nuts when possible. They grow in selenium-rich soil. Store them in the freezer to keep them fresh. If they taste bitter or metallic, they've gone bad. And the best time to eat Brazil nuts? In the morning, when testosterone production peaks. Many men report feeling sharper, more energetic, even more upbeat within a week of adding them to breakfast. Speaking of sharper minds, our next powerhouse nut is macadamia. These buttery gems are testosterone-friendly for a totally different reason. They're unusually low in omega-6 fatty acids and sky-high in monounsaturated fats. That fat profile fights inflammation while fueling hormone production. In fact, macadamias are made up of about 80% monounsaturated fat, more than even olive oil. These fats directly support testosterone production while improving insulin sensitivity. And better insulin sensitivity means lower inflammation and higher testosterone, since insulin resistance directly suppresses hormones. Macadamias are also rich in thiamine, a B vitamin vital for energy and nerve function. Most men don't realize B vitamins are critical cofactors in hormone production. Without them, all the raw materials in the world won't convert efficiently into testosterone. Aim for 10 to 12 macadamia nuts a day. They're calorie-dense, so portion control matters. But they also keep you satisfied, so you'll likely eat less overall. Choose raw or dry roasted without salt for maximum benefit. Next up, tiger nuts. Not true nuts at all, but tubers, and one of the best-kept secrets for men's health. Popular in Africa and Spain, they're only now gaining attention elsewhere. Research shows tiger nuts can boost testosterone significantly. Nigerian studies found tiger nut extract increased testosterone by up to 225% in animals, while human studies show more modest but still impressive increases of 15 to 20%. That's meaningful for a food. Their secret weapon? They're loaded with arginine, an amino acid your body turns into nitric oxide. More nitric oxide means better blood flow, stronger erections, and more efficient nutrient delivery to hormone-producing glands. Tiger nuts also provide zinc and vitamin E, both crucial for male reproductive health. With their natural sweetness, you can eat them raw, roasted, or even use them in flour or milk. Start with about a quarter cup daily. They're also fantastic for digestion thanks to resistant starch, which feeds good gut bacteria. Finally, let's talk pistachios, the green little powerhouses for erectile function. A study from Turkey found that men who ate 100 grams of pistachios daily for 3 weeks saw dramatic improvements in erectile function scores, with some reporting 50% better performance. The secret is their unique nutrient mix: arginine to boost nitric oxide, antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin to protect blood vessels, and phytosterols to support healthy cholesterol, which is key for hormone production. Pistachios are also lower in calories than most nuts, and their shells naturally slow down eating, so you don't overdo it. Cracking them open also creates a mindful eating habit that lowers stress. And less stress means more testosterone. Go for 40 to 50 pistachios daily, preferably in the shell, unsalted or lightly salted. The greener the nut, the higher the antioxidants. They're a perfect afternoon snack that keeps blood sugar stable. Here's how to put it all into practice. Daily essentials: 1 to 2 Brazil nuts in the morning for selenium, plus a handful of either macadamias, tiger nuts, or pistachios for steady support. Rotate them. Monday, macadamias, Tuesday, pistachios, Wednesday, tiger nuts, to keep the benefits balanced. Timing matters. Brazil nuts in the morning to match natural testosterone rhythms. Pistachios in the afternoon to fight fatigue. Tiger nuts at night to fuel gut health while you sleep. As for what to avoid, cut out soy nuts and flax seeds if you care about testosterone. Limit peanuts to twice a week at most. Avoid flavored and heavily processed nuts altogether. Nuts are delicate. Their oils go rancid quickly, turning inflammatory and harmful. Store Brazil nuts and macadamias in the freezer. Keep pistachios and tiger nuts in airtight containers in a cool, dark place. Buy smaller amounts more often instead of bulk. If they smell paint-like or bitter, toss them. Rancid nuts do more harm than good. And let's be clear, nuts aren't miracle cures. They won't give you the testosterone of a 20-year-old or replace real medical treatment if you have serious erectile dysfunction. But they can absolutely support your body's natural hormone production and blood flow. Most men notice improvements in as little as 3 to 4 weeks. The first change? More energy, often within days. Then stronger morning erections and a sense of vitality. Blood tests usually show rising testosterone within 2 to 3 months. Your choice of nuts truly matters more than you think. By cutting out the ones high in phytoestrogens and omega-6s while leaning on selenium-rich, zinc-packed, and healthy fat-filled options, you'll be fueling your hormones instead of fighting them. This isn't about perfection or obsession. It's about smart choices. Love peanut butter? Fine, just keep it occasional. But for daily snacks, make Brazil nuts, macadamias, tiger nuts, and pistachios your go-to. Start tomorrow with 2 simple steps. Add 1 or 2 Brazil nuts to your breakfast and swap your usual snack for pistachios. Stick with it for 30 days and pay attention to how you feel. Most men are shocked at how something so simple can reignite their energy, their vitality, and yes, their sexual function. Food is medicine, and for men over 50, the right nuts are one of the easiest ways to fuel the hormones in circulation that keep you feeling strong, confident, and fully alive.